The passage of the 19th Amendment granting women the right to vote was a momentous achievement. The women who marched for and fought for this right understood the importance and power of representation in the electoral process. It meant educational opportunities, securing workplace rights, and protection against sexual exploitation. At its core, the 19th Amendment meant independence and equality. As we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, we are all aware that this is a pivotal time in the history of our country and our state. And while the passage of the 19th Amendment was a remarkable step forward for women in our nation, I think it's also important to reflect upon the struggle that preceded this victory. Many of the heroines that were instrumental in the women's suffrage movement were still fighting the evils of racism and discrimination as women of color. We should not forget that the iconic Women's Suffrage March, the march that made it evident that women would not be silent, the protest for equality, was segregated, and women of color were required to march in the back. Some women, like Ida B. Wells, refused to march in the back of her state's delegation with almost 60 other women of color. Instead, she marched at the front, alongside the rest of her Illinois delegation, simultaneously taking a stand against sexism and racism. I'm also personally inspired by the bravery of a group of college students who were heavily discouraged from participating in the first suffrage march, under the threat of harm. These young women decided that what they were fighting for was worth the personal sacrifice. While those undergraduates may only be a footnote in the history books, their footprint is immeasurable. They were the founders of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I remain a proud member to this day. Many of the women who fought for this precious right were not alive to see it come to fruition. They are the trailblazers that came before us, and we are their legacy. The fight, however, did not end with the passage of the 19th Amendment. It still took several years before this right was extended to all women, particularly women of color. While we celebrate the women's right to vote, we must also acknowledge that there are many more victories to be won. Our great state of New York has been a state of firsts. Seneca Falls, New York, hosted the first Women's Rights Convention in 1848 and is known as the birthplace of the women's rights movement. I am proud to work for a governor who not only takes women's issues seriously, he prioritizes them. Governor Andrew Cuomo is progressive in fighting for women's equality and advancing policies that embrace diversity and inclusion. He has tackled workplace sexual harassment head-on, enacted the Marriage Equality Act granting same-sex marriage, improved coverage and access to breast cancer screening, mandated insurance coverage for in vitro fertilization, worked tirelessly to close the gender wage gap by raising the minimum wage and implementing the salary history ban, enacted the nation's strongest paid family leave program, and implemented comprehensive paid sick leave program for all New Yorkers. He continues to be a champion for women, and New York State continues to lead the way. As the first woman of color to hold the position of Executive Deputy Commissioner of the New York State Department of Labor, I have the privilege of meeting and working with women from all walks of life across our state. And in their stories and experiences, I find fragments of my own challenges and struggles. It saddens me to still hear their reports of racial and gender discrimination, as well as wage inequity, although we have made such strides and live in one of the most progressive states. While we have proven that we have the strength to break down the barriers that stand in our way, there is still more work to be done. The women that fought for the 19th Amendment united because they had a desire to be heard, to be seen, and to be counted. They were a group of strong and fierce women with a conviction to change the world for the better. They were a group of strong and fierce women making history, and we have an obligation to do the same. I'm inspired every day by the empowered and successful women I see throughout our workforce. I am also continually motivated to help our sisters who are still reaching for empowerment. Together, we must continue to stand up and demand better than the status quo. This is our time to be heard and to come together to fight for the things that unite us. Focusing on our differences will not make us stronger, but mobilizing our strength for the common goals that are at the core of what we believe, just like the women who came before us, will help us to write our own history. This year, our vote is more critical than ever. With your help, leaders like Governor Cuomo has led the way, and it is important that our voices be heard and used to elect more leaders who will continue to do the same. As we continue to fight for our basic rights, it is important to remember that there is no room for divisiveness in the fight for equality. If it harms one, it harms us all. If it benefits one, it benefits us all. Please, use your voice to leave your imprint on history, especially during these times, and to blaze a new trail. Thank you.